Could you imagine you're with your partner? You go out to eat with your partner to meet his mother. This is what happens. This is what ends up happening. I personally would not feel comfortable with my significant other being in a relationship with their mother like this. Everyone's seen with me Sweet Home Alabama. That's her son. Her son!
Later, babe.
Bye, I love you.
See ya, brah. Bye, mommy.
Okay, I've been wanting to cover this topic for a really, really long time when I first started commentary videos, but I kind of shrugged it off and I was like, maybe I just won't do a video on that. But then I was scrolling on Instagram and I came across this reel. That's a mother and son. I hope we can agree that this is weird. Now, before I start this video, I just want to make it very clear that I'm not a mother, so I don't understand fully how much you can love your baby boy, baby girl. So to all the mothers that will watch this video, don't be angry at me. This is not targeted towards you if you love your baby boy like a normal mother would, okay? This is more like it's getting to the point where it's weird, as in these mothers seem to want to be in a relationship with their sons. There's loving your son and then loving your son. Like, do you know what I mean? There's just like a line that I personally feel is being crossed here a little bit, and it's a little sus. It's a little weird, and we're gonna talk about it, okay? This is all for fun and for giggles, okay? Don't take anything too seriously. Before we completely dive into this video, your girl's gotta pay her bills, so thank you to Lanier for sponsoring this video. I am so excited about this partnership because, guys, I have two pieces of jewelry that I never ever take off, okay? And one of them is this ring right here. If you watch my videos, if you see my Instagram posts, I always wear this ring, and it's from Lanier. I've had it for years, and they reached out to me recently to work together, and I'm so excited about this. So let me tell you a little bit about one of my favorite jewelry brands ever, okay? First of all, I love how affordable they are for high quality products. They actually sell directly to their customers online, which cuts out the unnecessary cost and crazy markups that make traditional luxury products unaffordable for most people. Their jewelry sells for around half of the typical retail price for the same luxury level quality. Crazy. Another great thing about Lanier is they use recycled materials whenever possible, including 100% recycled gold and silver. And they use recycled and sustainable packaging. And can we talk about how cute their packaging is? I love the little stay golden on there. Adorable. And then look, you guys need to treat yourself. Look, it's like a little present to yourself. I love it so much. Their packaging is so beautiful. Like, look! Look how cute that is. It says the finer things in life every day. And then your little jewelry is safe inside a little pouch. They're so cute. The rings that I got, each piece is plated with a super thick layer of 22 karat gold. And it's 5 times thicker than the regular gold plated jewelry, and about 100 times thicker than the regular flash plated jewelry. This means that your piece will outlast regular gold plated and flash plated jewelry by many years. And they even have solid gold pieces if you want forever pieces. But if solid gold is out of your budget, just like me, these are just as great. Like I said, I've had this one for literal years. I don't even remember how long. It's almost been like a decade at this point, I feel like. Their collection is so beautiful. They have things with birthstones, they have little charms, and their jewelry has even been worn by celebrities that you definitely know of. Millie Bobby Brown, Gigi Hadid, and what do you know, Hailey Bieber, who we're gonna be talking about in this video. I just love their jewelry so much. I also got these little guys on. Obsessed. I'm glad I have more rings to add to my collection that I'm never taking off. I'm gonna link everything that I'm currently wearing down below in case you guys want to treat yourself. You definitely should. We should twin or whatever. You definitely will not regret your purchase with them. They're amazing. Again, I'm so over the moon about this collaboration because I genuinely love them so much. I also happen to have a special offer for you. You can use my discount code Thalia at checkout to save yourself some money. You're welcome. I love this one ring here because it's a baguette cut, I believe. It's called baguette. And I love baguettes. So that's why I got this one. I love carbs. Thank you to Lanier for sponsoring this video and for my little treasures. Now let's get into the drama, shall we? I don't even know where to begin, to be completely honest with you. Maybe this one, because this is honestly what made me want to do the whole video.
That's her son. Her son.
Let's watch this one more time. That's her son! Her son! Guys, do you understand where I'm coming from? Like, this is not just loving your son. It's getting a little bit weird. Like, she climbed him, okay? She's hugging him like he is the man of the house. It's one thing to hug your son, but this is just too much. Like, is that not embarrassing for him? I don't even want to know the nicknames he has from his teammates. Someone commented she's definitely wearing white to his wedding. Yikes.
I'm all about loving your children. I can't wait to be a mom one day. I love my mom. But this mother-son obsession that some mothers and sons have with each other is if they could marry their sons, they really would.
That's what I'm trying to say. Creepy. It's obsessive. And a lot of people under this video actually in the comments were saying, like, just wait till you have a son. You'll understand when you have boys. This one person said, I have 2 boys and I'm obsessed with them. Wait until you're a mama and your baby is obsessed with you. And someone said exactly what I'm trying to say here. That's not what she's saying. It's weird when they're acting like they are in a relationship. Why isn't it the same way with the daughter? And a mother replied, nope, I'm a mother of 3. We raised them to be independent, to go on their own journeys. My 24-year-old marriage ended because his mom was obsessed with him. Wow, that's crazy. And she did him a disservice. She never let him go. I also think this is directed more towards a weird relationship with a growing son. I've dated men who had moms who literally tried to compete with me for their affection. Gross and weird. Anyways, I don't want to offend mothers with this video. That is not my intent. Okay? Cool. I've seen so many mothers under this audio on TikTok, and if I play the audio, I'm probably gonna get copyright. But let me sing it for you. Sorry, in advance. Just so you understand. I'm probably gonna get copyright for my voice too, because it's just gonna be too good. Let me whip out my country voice. Girl, I ain't tryna be mean, but before you there was me. So cringe, I'm sorry. But yeah, taking those lyrics, applying it to that situation. It's weird, is it not? That's how I hope the moms watching react to this. The mom on the left.
You're not in competition with any woman for your son's affection, for your son's love. Not his girlfriend, not his future wife, none of that. These are the kind of women that interrupt the gender reveal because they want to be the first one to hug their son. These are the monster-in-laws who cannot help but act like there's no girl good enough for their son. She wants to do his laundry. She wants to cook and clean for him, even if he has a wife. These are the moms that don't know how to cut the cord. These are the moms that sabotage every relationship he has with another woman because you're jealous of her. Some of these boy moms come across as creepy. You can love your son, but don't cross the line. Why are you even insinuating that you are in competition with a future girlfriend or a future wife? That's not your job and that's not your role. These are the kind of women that always try to make their son feel like you got to choose between me or her. Why is it even a competition? There's nothing wrong with loving your son, but being jealous of a future girlfriend or a future wife as his mother comes across as creepy. I'm sorry.
I appreciated coming across TikToks like this throughout my search for this video because I felt like maybe I was being a little extra, like maybe it's not as weird as I think, but it seems that there are some sane, regular moms, boy moms out there. Someone in the comments thinking exactly what I'm thinking. Finally, someone sane. As a mom to 4 boys, that's a note from me. I'm their parent, not their long-term girlfriend from birth. Here's another one. It's lighthearted, but it's just kind of weird at the same time. The lyrics are, please don't be in love with someone else. I don't know, just again, I have not experienced having a son, but I just feel like your job as a mother is to love your baby boy, raise them, and send them out of the nest to live their life. You know what I mean? This one, it's not as weird because it's like, it's cute when he's a little boy like this, but when you're in a relationship and the mother-in-law is like this to their grown adult son, it's not so cute anymore. It's weird. It's your son, not your boyfriend. Another one, again, sure, cute when he's a little boy, but you don't want to be a monster-in-law. That's what scares me the most, honestly, about my future relationship. One day meeting his family and maybe he has a mother like this. I've low-key experienced that already and I just don't want that for my next relationship. I want to be best friends with my mother-in-law, truly. I don't want to be in like a competition or I have to like live up to you. You're his mom. I can't replace you. If I ever have children, I will never be this type of mother. Nuh-uh. Like, I never want to give off mean girl energy as a mother. That's just embarrassing and weird to me. And here is an example of it. I remember when this was a trend and so many of these were showing up on my For You page. I'm like, what is even going on here? Excuse me, but my egg sandwiches I personally think are pretty delicious, so. Have you had these cookies? Have you had these cookies? These are addicting, okay? This is like, there's crack in these. I just don't understand why it has to be negative like this. Maybe teach your son to appreciate what's on the dinner table. Some families would be very thankful for a frozen pizza on the table. Watching this, and I literally had a PB&J last night at my ripe age of 25 years old. You know what? PB&Js never fail, okay? And if my husband will not eat a PB&J with me happily, he's not the one for me. PB&Js are good, especially with fresh bread from a bakery. Delish.
I'm going to speak from personal experience. When my husband and I started dating over 20 years ago, I couldn't cook a goddamn thing. I could make some grilled cheese and some tomato soup, but that was the extent. And even when I tried other things and it tasted like he still ate it and he said, that was good, great job. And because of that, I'm going to toot my own horn. I'm a pretty good cook. So how about instead of teaching your son to do it in spite, just have him be like a nice human being. Oh, you're going to be a brutal mother-in-law.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Thank you. How about teaching your son to cook because it's just a basic life skill? Teach your son to be a contributing human in the household. This is the boy mom energy that we need. Raising him right, he's gonna be a great husband one day. I'm excited personally to one day cook for my family, especially bake. I love to bake. I just love being in the kitchen. But not everyone is like that. But especially when like a woman is pregnant and stuff, you're gonna need the man to step up and help take care of basic things like cooking so y'all can eat. Men should know how to cook, to do the dishes, to do laundry. It's not just up to the woman to do that. If the woman wants to do that and take care of the household, fantastic. But regardless, both genders should know how to do these simple, essential life things, you know? We love to see it. Yes, that is a good father right there. I know we're talking about boy moms, but shout out to this dad. This is great. Moving on.
I just saw this TikTok that said, I can't even it said, watching your son grow up will feel like the slowest breakup you ever go through. And it's so true. And now I'm an emotional mess because like all my boys are getting so big. And I used to be their number one. Now I'm not. They used to bring me flowers that they picked outside. And it would still have the roots connected to them. It was so cute. They would rush off the bus to come and see me. It's not the same anymore. They used to tell me that they were gonna marry me when they got older. And now they're hardly ever around. If you have little ones still, cherish every moment because it really goes by so fast. And like I know I'll always be their mom, but it's just different.
I understand to a degree, again, because I'm not a mother, I don't understand fully, but having your children leave the nest, that is a sad thing for sure. My mother has definitely cried about that. But why are we comparing a breakup to your child leaving the house? It's your job as a mother to raise them and one day, like I said, send them off. That's just your role as a mom.
Can we stop with the weird trend saying that like your son growing up is like a breakup? This is my second of 2 sons. The entire purpose of my job is to get them to leave. Not like never talk to me again, but like leave and be self-sufficient and independent and like maybe find a partner. Like what? I understand the like bitter sweetness of watching your children grow up, but that is not specific to boys. That's like, I look back at the baby pictures of my daughter who's now 8, going on 9, going on 46. And I'm like, oh, when she was a squishy little baby, thank you so much for the carrot, thank you. But that's just parenting. They get older and you like miss the little baby that they were because they're older. That's not Stop making it weird. It's not a slow breakup. Go to therapy. Imagine if a dad said this about his daughter. Imagine. Like, it shouldn't feel that way.
To be like crying over said he was gonna marry me one day. I don't know. It's funny because I should have saved it. I saw this TikTok. This mom took her kid to the park and he told his mom, "Mom, I'm gonna marry you one day." And she was like, "No. No, you're not. I'm your mom." Making it very clear, like, I am your mother. You don't marry your mom. And I just thought it was really funny because there's definitely like two types of people that are super like gushy and like, oh, that's so cute. And then the other side where it's like, no, this is getting weird. The kid just like kept on going on that he was gonna like marry his mom one day. She just started to like kind of ignore him at the end of the clip, like not in a rude way, but was just like clearly feeling a little bit uncomfortable with the situation. And I just thought that was so funny because I'm more that type of person. I'd be like, that's really sweet, honey, but no, you're gonna marry some beautiful princess one day. You know, I'm your mommy. Exactly. It's a weird dynamic. I'm gonna be saying that so much in this video, but I just feel so bad for all of the women out there that are dealing with a not so great mother-in-law. There's so many. Like in the comments of this video, the last thing my mother-in-law said to me was, "He was my son before he was ever your husband." And someone said, "Is your mother-in-law named Ruth?" That's exactly what mine said to me. No, because like imagine if a dad said that about his teen daughter. Honestly though. And when there is a dad and daughter dynamic like that, everyone's like, call CPS. Also, just like the term breakup is weird in general because it's not a breakup. Your mom is not going to be replaced. You're still going to be the mom. The mom and daughter should become besties and it doesn't have to be this like rival thing.
I have seen an influx of hashtag boy moms posting this quote that raising a son is like the slowest breakup ever. And can we just not? Can we please just not? You're not breaking up with your son because hopefully you're not dating your son. Okay? And as people grow up, that doesn't mean you lose them unless your kid decides to go no contact with you because you're a narcissist. I still have an amazing relationship with both of my parents and my mother-in-law, probably because she didn't equate raising her son to breaking up with him. It's weird. Gross.
Thank you. A sane mother. Your son will always be your baby boy in your heart, 100%. But you should want him to grow and have a wonderful adulthood.
There are two types of boy moms. You have boy moms, this creepy, weird Norman Bates energy thing, and you have moms of boys, which I would like to consider myself part of as a mom of two boys. For example, you have the boy moms who, as we all do when we have sons, sits on a toilet and there is urine on it because they didn't aim. And that mom's gonna be like, oh, I bet this is gonna clear up my butt acne. It did clear up my butt. I need to let all my friends know that my son's urine has cleared my butt acne. Like, he is just a miracle. And then you have the moms of boys who are like, Jesus, Mary and Joseph and all of his carpenter friends, if you don't put this toilet seat down and aim, just sit and pee. Sit and pee. So that I don't have to sit in your pee. See the difference? There's a very clear difference. But to make it worse, you get on the internet and be like, my daughter's great, but my son is my whole reason for being. Ma'am, that's a lot of pressure to put on a kid. Pressure that's going to result in him needing lots of future therapy. That might have been avoidable had you gotten that therapy. Again, it's giving Norman Bates. It's giving Oedipus complex in the future. It's giving, he's never going to find a partner because you're never going to approve of any of them. All the while your daughter is going to know that you don't care about her as much as you care about your son. Whether she sees it on the internet or not, if you're willing to put that energy into the world for everyone else to see, I promise you, she's going to know. But seriously, mom of boys to boy mom, weird.
That is a really good point to bring up. These type of relationships with your son, especially if you have a daughter, that is so sad for the daughter. Someone in the comments said, I'm a daughter of a boy mom and it's a special kind of trauma growing up knowing you don't matter. Especially because my brother was abusive and it was always, well, what did you do to him? And now she's sick and he never visits her because it's too hard. I have no contact with my mom because her son is the golden child. See, that's just sad. Feeling grateful that I don't have any brothers, but I know my mother would not be like this.
Mothers that are creepishly obsessed with their sons are going to be toxic mother-in-laws. And you can't convince me otherwise. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a boy mom myself, and I love my little boy. But I'm talking about the ones that are like, my son is the one that showed me real love. I don't need a man because I have my son. I've even seen some mothers go as far as calling their sons. Not only is that weird, but it's also emotional incest. And it can even be confusing for the sons. The love that we have for our sons and the love that they have for us should never be filling a romantic hole in our heart. We should be loving our sons strictly from a maternal standpoint. If anything, we should be preparing them to love their partners. The other day, my 7-year-old son told me, "Mommy, you're the only girl I'll ever love." And I looked at him and said, "No, baby, one day you're gonna have a woman that you'll love more than me." And then we proceeded to have a conversation about how one day he'll have his own family. Now imagine if I would have said, "Yes, I'm the only woman you'll ever love," and I continued to push that narrative on him for the rest of his life. It would start to warp his view of a motherly love and confuse him even in his relationships as an adult. I love my son more than anything, but I want him to love his future wife more than he loves me. So, to my son's future wife, please know that you'll never have to fight for the #1 spot in his heart.
A mom gifted her married son a cruise for two. Pretty sweet, right? It turns out the cruise for two was for the mom and her son, not the son and his wife. Boy moms just can't seem to let go, can they? The man shared in his since-deleted Reddit post that he and his wife are struggling in their marriage after she had a rough pregnancy and his mother had a cancer scare at the same time. This son spent way too much of his time helping his mother, who demanded constant attention and wasn't there for his pregnant wife, which drove a wedge in their marriage. The mom didn't end up having cancer, but she did seem to enjoy taking advantage of her son's time and energy despite knowing his marriage was on the rocks. After the baby was born, the man noticed that his wife's distress was connected to their mother's presence in his home. He stopped inviting his mother around, and their marriage improved. When his daughter's first birthday arrived, he did decide to invite his mom again. She came with a gift, but it wasn't for the granddaughter. It was for her son, and it was a cruise for two. At first he was excited because he and his wife could use the escape, but the mother shut that down quickly, saying that the cruise was for him and her to bond because they lost touch after the baby was born. To make matters worse, the mom presented this gift in front of the wife and the entire party, making it all about her. The term enmeshment comes to mind here, which often refers to the toxic attachments that some mothers will have with their sons, and it occurs when a mother becomes overly involved in her son's life, blurring boundaries and creating a codependent relationship.
That's insane. This mother-in-law is definitely giving major red flags. It's really giving this energy.
Mom, it's our honeymoon. You can't come.
I'm not giving you your keys back then. There's no way I'm letting you go on vacation with another female.
Mom, my flight's in like 2 hours. I gotta leave.
Why don't you want me to come, huh? Is it because your little wife is threatened? She's just mad because she knows you have a hot mom who's gonna look way better than her at the beach.
No, it's because we're celebrating the fact that we're getting married.
If anyone's up here, if you can hear me, they're going on a cruise. Let it sink! Let it sink!
You are one of the most fucked up people. You know, do you hear yourself what you're saying, Mom?
I've never done anything wrong. I don't know why she hates me for no reason. All because I love my son.
Mom, you said you would shove her in the ocean and she can't even swim.
Who cares? Nobody would miss her anyways. I'd be doing the world a favor.
I used to not truly know what a boy mom was. Like, I thought a boy mom was just a mom with a son, and there was no specific personality associated with being a boy mom. That's until I actually saw a boy mom out in public, and it was eye-opening, to say the least. I was minding my own business, just catching a train home, when around, like, the second or third stop, this woman gets on in her, like, mid-50s, and she's with this dude around my age, and they sit down right in front of me. Now, the reason that they caught my eye in the first place is because when they got onto the train, they were holding hands, and it's not every day when you see a cougar out in the wild. And to be honest, like, my curiosity was piqued, so I started to pay attention. So right off the bat, after they sit down, I see this woman lean closer to the person that I think is her much younger boyfriend and go, "You know, I had a really good time tonight. I hope we can go on more dates just like this." This dude responds, and he gets, like, visibly angry. He's just like, "I told you before, please stop calling them dates. All we did was get dinner. It's weird." So I'm thinking, like, what is going on? And honest to God, I thought it was like some affair that they were trying to keep under wraps. After he gets, like, angry at her, she goes on to be like, "Pookie, I'm sorry. I don't want to make you angry." He goes on to be like, "For starters, if you want to stop making me angry, stop calling me Pookie." And this woman goes on to be like, "But you've always been my Pookie. I've always called you Pookie." You could tell this dude was just so done with her because he was just like, "Please just stop." And it did stop the conversation. So fast forward, they're not talking, and the dude starts dozing off. And he's on the window side of the train, so he starts leaning up against the window. So I look over, and I see this woman staring at this dude while he's dozing off. And it wasn't just any type of stare. It was one of those love stares. So she had honeymoon eyes on. Like, I could almost see the hearts in her pupils. Nonetheless, I look up from time to time just to see what was going on, and I kid you not, she was looking at this dude for a good 15 minutes. That's until I see this woman doze off and kind of lean over to sleep on this dude's shoulder. As soon as her head made contact with his shoulder, this dude, like, awakens, and he kind of pushes her off. He went on to be like, "Get off me." And the woman was like, "But Pookie, I'm tired." The dude was just like, "Well, then you can have my window seat and lean up against the window, and I'll move to the other side of the aisle." And that's what he does. He gets up and goes to the other side of the aisle. After he was on the other side, the woman was just like, "But Pookie, you're squishy." After she said that, the dude was just like, "Mom, you're being weird. Let's let's just be quiet for the rest of the ride. I was thinking like, what? She's your mother? And I just started connecting the dots, and it started to make a lot more sense. I feel bad for this kid. I feel bad for anyone with a boy mom. I don't know, maybe this is just an extreme case. Maybe there are some good cases of boy moms, but I have not seen them. I'd love to know if you guys know any good cases of a boy mom.
So yeah, boy mom out in the wild with that story. But I was scrolling through the comments while watching this video, and someone said their brother-in-law sits on his mother's lap. He's in his 30s. The thought of like my dad sitting on my grandma's lap, it would never happen. It's just so weird to me, a grown man on their mother's lap. Guys, it's weird. Please agree with me. I personally would not feel comfortable with my significant other being in a relationship with their mother like this. You know what I mean? Everyone's seen with me Sweet Home Alabama. Someone commented, do you see where his hand went? No. Why is his hand between her legs? I don't know. I also didn't grow up in a family that's super touchy-feely, so maybe that has something to do with it, but a lot of people are commenting, are you sure that's your mom? Is she your mother or your girlfriend? So I'm not the only one that's thinking this is a little weird. And apparently there's a term for this because I was scrolling through the comments and everyone's saying enmeshment is the literal marriage destroyer. And I had never heard of that term ever in my life, but it can also be known as emotional incest, which you may have heard before. And it refers to a family system that lacks boundaries, basically. The parent or caregiver inappropriately relies on the child to meet their emotional needs. The parent may grow accustomed to having their needs catered to, which can lead to them becoming overprotective, intrusive, and controlling.
I had no idea what an enmeshed family was, and I had no idea.
Let's talk about what this looks like in practicality. So often I would have couples come into therapy, or I've, had patients or clients in therapy sessions, and they would make complaints, but the complaints they don't realize is just a realization of them being in an enmeshed family. And what this would look like is being a part of a dynamic in which your partner is heavily involved with their family. Many people would see this as a positive thing, but however, when you and your partner is trying to build your own family, you'd realize that the influence of their external family is having so much say into your own family, but whatever dynamic you're trying to create with them. So let me give you an example of this. Think about a time in which you and your partner were making plans, and then your plans has to be on halt for the sake of putting their family first. Maybe you think about your own dinners, your own events you would like to plan with your partner, maybe a vacation, and maybe your partner is not going to be available because they have a family vacation with their parents and their extended family. So now the plans that you have between you and your partner has to be postponed. Or let's think about the ways in which you might be asked to do things that you're not comfortable with, like show up for family events that you're not quite comfortable with people, and you're forced to show up just to mingle. It's almost like having these standards or expectations for you to show up for your partner's family in a way in which you have no exposure with. Also, this can be a cultural shock within a family dynamic to women that did not grow up in a large family or an enmeshed family.
In situations like this too, where the husband doesn't necessarily stand up for you, they're more so on the family side, that can make this really tricky and can obviously lead to unfortunate things like divorce, which is really, really sad. There's 324 comments under this video, and it's so sad that all of them are saying they relate to this and sharing their experience, that they're going through this, they didn't know that there was a word for it. It's just unfortunate. And I pray that that situation never finds me. Like I said, I want to be best friends with my significant other side of the family.
I don't think a lot of men realize that their mother is in love with them. Fellas, it's not normal for your mother to be hostile to your girlfriend or wife. Unwarranted, of course. She's a piece of shit. She's a piece of shit. And if she is, why are you with her? But if you hear your own mother saying, oh, she's taking you away from me. Oh, you always side with her instead of me. It's giving side piece behavior. And I bring this up, a lot of men are like, no woman's ever gonna love me like my mama does. They're not supposed to. Maternal love is supposed to be different from romantic love. A lot of times this happens either from single mothers or women who are married to absolute pieces of crap, and they latch onto their sons for the emotional needs that their husbands don't give them. And when they finally come across a woman who's willing to bring it up and be like, that's odd. You dudes get super defensive of your mother. Oh, well, she's all I've ever had. She raised me. Yeah. And if she wasn't unhealthily attached to you, she would want you to find happiness. She should want to have a healthy relationship with the woman that you choose to spend your life with. Your mother should not be fighting for your attention. I don't necessarily blame a lot of men for going along with this because they don't know. They grew up and they thought it was normal. But when you have a woman who loves you and she cares about you and they sit you down and they say, this is a problem, maybe listen to her.
More men need to realize this.
I love both of my kids. I love my daughter. She's so sweet. She's so nice. But my son, I feel like I'm walking around with my heart outside of my chest. Like, he is my king. He is my king. And I tell him, you will never find another girl that loves you as much as mommy. Like, just the other night, we were sitting at the dinner table and he burped the entire alphabet, like, perfectly. And my daughter was like, Mom, that's gross. And I was like,
Don't you understand talent?
I don't know, it's just like different.
Do you not understand talent? The people in the comments of this were saying sound just like Avery Woods, and that sent me into searching who Avery Woods was, and I actually have heard of her before because I remember seeing a TikTok of hers that was going viral. She stirred up a lot of drama for many different reasons that we're not going to get into today.
Everything that comes out of her mouth is filth.
What about the whole flirting with a guy on her podcast while she's married to a husband?
That wasn't flirting. That was they're having a physical affair, but verbally.
Okay.
To put it in a nice way.
About the C-section comment. Oh, she's more pristine down there because she's had C-sections.
It's really disrespectful, and I think she doesn't know what anybody or everybody looks like down there. So how does she know that she's pristine and everybody else isn't?
I'm married, but hypothetically speaking, would you hook up with me?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Woo! We got that on film.
Yeah, that stirred up a lot of heat on social media. But I specifically remember seeing this clip.
My boy moms feel me on this, but my son has my heart and my soul. I obviously am obsessed with Stevie Lee. She is just the greatest little girl in the world. But my whole life, I always wanted to be a boy mom. And I remember when I found out I was pregnant with him, and I was just ecstatic because I was such a tomboy growing.
I want to point out a few things before I go on my rant. When you make a statement, and in the middle of that statement you say but or however, that negates everything you said before the but or however. I cannot imagine making a video while having a boy and a girl and saying, I love my daughter, but I love my son way more. Like, the whole purpose of her video was literally just to show her son's school pictures. Why could she have not just been like, hey, look at my son's school pictures, they're so cute. Instead, she said, hey, I kind of like my daughter, but I'm in love with my son. Here's his school pictures.
I was scrolling the comments, per usual. Someone said, I have 5 kids, 1 boy and 4 girls, and everyone is neglected equally. She's a good mom, I'm sure.
This mom influencer is being blasted online for displaying favoritism to one of her 2 kids. This is Avery Woods, and if you didn't know, she kind of blew up on TikTok for doing like these vulgar voiceovers with her 2-year-old daughter. But she has 2 children. Her youngest is her daughter Stevie Lee, and her oldest is her son named Ziggy. Avery posted this video about a month ago, and it just randomly started getting traction about her son's preschool photos. I'm not going to show the whole video because it has pictures of her son, but people are having an issue with the intro before showing the pictures.
My boy moms feel me on this, but my son has my heart and my soul. I obviously am obsessed with Stevie Lee. She is just the greatest little girl in the world. But my whole life, I always wanted to be a boy mom. And I remember when I found out I was pregnant with him, and I was just ecstatic because I was such a tomboy growing up. Anyways, the whole point of me making this video is I had to share his preschool photo with you.
The comments under the video are just oof.
Now, I'm sure she loves both of her children very much. I'm not questioning that whatsoever. You just shouldn't say things like this. What's on the internet is on the internet forever. You have a digital footprint. So if your daughter sees this in the future, that's just really sad to hear. I would be sad listening to this if my mom said that. You shouldn't say this out loud, you know? And to the internet, why would you put this on the internet?
But my whole life, I always wanted to be a boy mom.
I could absolutely never relate to these boy moms. I find it to be incredibly incestuous to think this way. Digitally, this is going to be here for a long time. And I always try to think, if my sons came across this video, how would that make them feel? And if I made a video saying that my youngest, my little baby boy, was the pride and joy, my heart and soul in my life, how do you think that would make my oldest son feel if he ever came across that? And not only that, but how would it make my youngest feel? This is such a strange type of boy mom trope or incredibly unhealthy relationship with their sons, and I will never relate to it.
Yeah, it just makes me sad for her daughter.
I never thought that I would be that toxic boy mom. I love my 4 kids equally, but that last little boy just hits different. And now I feel like I'm having this existential crisis. Before I wouldn't be that mom, that toxic boy mom. He hits his sisters, he punches them. I'm like, maybe he's having a hard day. So when I think about my daughters getting married, I get excited, right? Think about their dresses, planning their weddings. When I think about my son's wedding, I want to cry. boy moms, we've got to step up. We got to realize that we are the problem.
You don't say. Love how she was like, I never thought I'd be a toxic boy mom, and then goes and says something very emotionally incestual in a way. Maybe he's having a bad day while being violent? No. Insane thing to say. Okay, this video is getting very long, but we're gonna wrap this up on an extreme note, I guess.
I saw the original and thought it was so wild that I screenshot the first slide. But a little PSA to boy moms, for the love of God, please don't be like this. Okay, this is a surefire way that in 30 years you're like, why does my son not talk to me? Why can I not see my grandkids? Why does my daughter-in-law hate me? Because all of those questions are answered in a post like this.
Okay, let's look at the post, shall we? It says, born to be your lover, okay? The caption of this photo says, I can't describe how much I love you, Brayden, and how I am so proud to be your mama. We share a lot of memories together, and not gonna lie, sometimes I wish I was your lover. Sorry, that wasn't the end of it. My fault for making you so attractive. Love you, son. Not gonna lie, sometimes I wish I was your lover. Ah! What is going on? Just, excuse me? Pardon? Oh my gosh, I don't understand this. I don't. And it just gets weirder.
My handsome boy.
Okay. I'm Austin.
I'm Charlene.
And we are mother and son.
And best friends.
Could you imagine you're with your partner? It looks like they're at a restaurant or something. You go out to eat with your partner to meet his mother. This is what happens? This is what ends up happening?
He is a reincarnated version of my first husband.
Sounds right.
My first husband, I met him at 18. We got married at 23. And he died of cancer at age 27. And I was broken. So my second husband, Victor, is Austin and Cameron's biological dad. Victor and I are divorced since 1998. But when I had Austin, I really felt like his soul was part of Dale. The way they dress, their personality, sensitive. I can't explain that to anybody, but I got a part of them back. And how I got this blessing, I don't know, but I'm taking everything.
She's literally in love with her son. We're gonna end it there because that's enough of that. Do let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you see where I'm coming from with this video? That it's weird? It's a little much. Where's this energy for the baby girls? Maybe we don't want this energy for the baby girls, actually. Let's love all of our children equally, maybe. Or like that one comment said, neglect all of their children equally. Thank you again to Lanier for sponsoring this video. Pick yourself up some gorgeous jewelry. They have the best little treasures. I love you so much, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!
Why are you refusing to walk down the aisle? My son's waiting for you and he did nothing wrong!
I legit caught you breastfeeding him in the bathroom after I looked for him for like an hour. That's weird and disturbing.
Disturbing? I'm his mother and I was just feeding him! He was hungry! He hasn't had anything to eat all day and I had to make sure that he wouldn't starve during the ceremony!
Okay, so you could have ordered fast food for him? That's what any normal mother would have done.
This is completely normal! We've always done it! Whether he had a bad day in college or a stressful day at work, I was always there to comfort him and give him a sweet treat.
He's not a baby. He's 33 years old. How do you not understand how disgusting this is?
Guess what, little girl? I don't give a shit how old he is. He'll always be my baby boy. We've always done this, and we will never break our sacred tradition for a worthless female like you.
And I will never marry a grown man that still gets breastfed by his mommy.
Okay, and guess what? He doesn't need you. He already has his mother, and I'm everything he'll ever need.
I don't know what this is based off of, but apparently it's a true story.